All right, today we have Hazy and we have Marius. Marius is our other host this evening, and I am his co-host. Marius, if you would like to take it away, go ahead.
Okay, brilliant. So Harvey, Hazy, thanks for joining us today. The whole podcast is kind of centered around looking at up and coming creators and trying to understand their process and the way the decisions they've made that have kind of brought them into a good position, which arguably could be said for you. So do you want to give us a little introduction into who you are and kind of what you're doing right now?
Sure. My real name's Harvey, as I'm sure you know, but my producer name's Hazy. I'm a producer, sound engineer, and studio owner. And right now I'm just kind of basically doing studio work. But I got into it through my production side of things.
Okay, brilliant. Also, I mean, we'll touch on this a little bit later, but at the start of this year, you've got one more employee and a new studio, right?
So I got 2 employees now.
2 employees, 2 studios, which is quite a lot to say for a 20-year-old young man. All right, brilliant. Okay, so do you want to kind of walk us through the kind of first steps of your career when you were because we kind of know each other. I remember you were working for free for quite a while, arguably being exploited for your work slightly. What was kind of the first point that you realised? What was the first point that you realised that this was kind of a route that you were interested in going down?
I feel like there's a difference between kind of doing it because you enjoy it musically and then obviously the money side of things. Initially, I kind of got into it just because I enjoyed making music and I kind of wanted to work with people that I enjoyed their music and wanted to be a part of that. Also, being creative in general is just quite good for yourself. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, in terms of when I first kind of realized I wanted to do it, I guess school maybe, like in school, and then my friend used to just go to the music block and just like make beats all day or like make instrumentals. That's kind of I just used to upload stuff on SoundCloud.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you disappeared for about 2 years in the end of secondary school from being outside.
But it's weird because I never really had the kind of intention to make a career out of it. I was just doing it for fun because I enjoyed it. But I assume it's like that with a lot of kind of creative jobs. You don't get into it because you're trying to make money off it initially, and then kind of the money comes long term because
you work hard with the work.
Exactly. Do you know what it is? I think if you're doing the job you enjoy, you can put in more hours. So essentially, I mean, I guess it's not as much working harder. It's like you can work longer, and like you can work longer hours and put in more time into whatever you want to be doing because you enjoy what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's kind of easy for me to like.
So what point would you say at was where you've had to put in the most work? Was it like right at the start, or kind of when you were first doing it, or is it when you started taking responsibilities on and kind of?
Yeah, like I'd say maybe when I got the first studio initially, I guess that's when you have to put the most work in because you don't really have any scale. I didn't have the experience of having a studio, so I kind of had to work out everything straight off the bat. Obviously, because I didn't go to uni or do my A-levels specifically in music or in business, I just kind of stumbled into it and just had to work everything out as I went along. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of, because also you haven't got as much of a platform in the first year. So right now, everything kind of works for itself. And it's like, because you kind of build over time, like your client base. And you get more customers more returning customers. But yeah, initially it's kind of like
you kind of build it. So maybe like for you, the most difficult part was getting a bit of a name for yourself, maybe the confidence that would be attributed to that. And then now you're in a position where you can be a bit more kind of comfortable in what you're doing. Don't know if you'd agree.
Yeah. And also the side of it is obviously, I mean, I was engineering at this point, so I was doing all the sessions myself, but it's like I wasn't that good at what I was doing. So it's like over time you get better as well. So initially, when you first start out, you're not going to be as good as you are in 2-3 years. So the first year is probably the hardest because you're still not providing people with a service that is as good as like
Yeah.
the best. There are people like, in terms of like the food chain, I guess you're kind of at the bottom. So like you have to work yourself up.
definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
When do
You
you
managed
think?
to go pretty quickly.
When do you think
Say
the
again?
turning? When do you think the turning point was for you? Like when you thought that, like, you know, when you realized, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. After the learning and everything, when do you
Yeah.
think that turning point was for you? Like,
It's
is
hard
there
to kind of
anything that
say. You know,
sticks out? You know?
it's weird because I feel like with a lot of things you don't realize how good or bad you are until like 2 years down the line. For example, I probably thought I was really good at what I was doing the first year because I knew less. But then now when I look back at it, I'm like, how was I even doing that? Like, how did I think that was a good idea? Or this, do you know what I mean? So like, but like in terms of like a turning point for me, I don't know really. Maybe like when I was the first year in.
I kind of wanted to. I mean, I don't know if this is what you're about to say, but something which a very distinctive memory I have for your career was when we went to our friend's house and her mum read your tarot cards, and you left the house a different person. You left the house. We must be going out to get pissed, and you went home to put your head down and start producing. So I don't know would you attribute that to anything in particular?
I mean, that was like a lot of motivation, I guess, because it kind of put things into perspective. But in terms of, I mean, for context of what you're saying for everyone else, it's like, obviously we went to our friend's house and their mum read my tarot cards, and one of the cards was basically that the summary was like, if you put the work in, you'll get what you want out of it, basically, but you have to put in the work to get the result, I guess. So then I kind of thought, all right, cool, I need to put in the work, and then at some point I know if I put in this much work, I'm going to get this much out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, well, it's pretty worked out pretty well for you, hasn't it?
What was the level? What was and like still is like the level that you want to get to? You know what I mean? Like where do you see yourself in like 10 years?
Yeah, like it's kind of hard to know because it's like I started off as a producer, now I don't even really produce anymore. So it's kind of like I'm like. This week I've been learning how to edit music videos. I'm kind of just trying a bit of everything and just kind of going with the flow, I guess, of like what I'm interested in, because I feel like when it gets to the point when you're doing it and it feels like a chore, I guess in like a creative industry, it kind of you'll lose interest and you lose like kind of the purpose you're doing it in the first place. And also I feel like it's very hard to be productive in creative like scenarios if you're not in the right mindset or mood to do it. Whereas I feel like with other jobs, it's kind of like, I guess it's the same like majority of the time, I guess. But like with creative stuff, I find I make better music maybe when I want to be doing it, and I find it hard to force myself to kind of try and make something if I can't even, do you know what I mean, think about what I'm doing. But yeah, in terms of like 10 years, it's like I've got a couple ideas. Like I kind of at this point in time, I know it'll probably change in like a year. I'll probably say something different, but in 10 years, maybe I kind of want to have a franchise of studios. Like I guess I want to have like 10 studios maybe, and have like basically be a massive brand. Like kind of just like you know, like there's a studio called Pirate Studios as well, which is doing quite well. It's like you pay just dry hire out of rooms, and like. It's just a mad business plan. But I kind of think like
also in the creative industries, you wanna also kind of be innovating. So it's about not only seeing what's been done before, but trying to, you know, Pirate Studios is kind of unique in the sense they have kind of big, large scale. They got studios in Liverpool, they got studios in London. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're on quite a big scale, and it's like trying to find a niche in the market which hasn't really been done before, but something which you bring to the table. And like I often get the impression the reason you're very successful is because a lot of producers, particularly maybe in South London, on the more kind of affordable scale, they don't really bring you that professionalism which people want and which actually makes, you know, good music or is worth the time and the money, if you see what I mean. So like it's very important to be able to bring like something to the table which isn't easily accessible.
Yeah, I think a big thing with studios, I feel like why I did quite well initially first year or two, even though I don't feel like I was that kind of good at what I was doing at the time. I feel like it's also, there's so much that goes into it in terms of like, you have to meet new people every day, right? And you have to kind of get to know them. You have to kind of keep them motivated and enthusiastic in the studio. And there's a lot of situations that you kind of wouldn't even expect. But yeah, I guess like a lot of the time it's just about building a relationship with the person, and that's how you get people to come back as well. Because it's almost like they just come, they want to see you, like they want to go to the studio for the experience as well, rather than just, some people don't even really care too much about the outcome. They just want to go for the vibe of the actual studio, rather than like, I'm going here to make a good song. They just want to, it's like, I see it almost, I feel like I'm going off the topic a bit, but I feel like it's almost a bit like an experience where you would go to like a bowling alley maybe, like, or the cinema. It's just like, you're kind of, you need to make an environment that is kind of an experience that people go home and feel like they've done something productive with their day.
That's very interesting kind of take on it. I never really kind of would have thought that it would be, I never really kind of envisioned that to be a motivating reason why people would go to the studio. But it does make sense that kind of it's not only to get the product, it's actually for the experience, as you're saying.
Yeah.
I've actually got a question for you. 2 questions. I don't know if you have an answer for this, but would you have a specific best and worst memory / experience as being a producer?
I've got a juicy one for you, I guess. I mean, worst memory I had fucking, oh shit, I don't know if I can swear. Can I swear?
Yeah, that's fun.
Worst memory I had a stabbing at the studio like 2 years ago. It's like, obviously when you're getting into that kind of business, there are kind of cons to that you might not get in other industries. So yeah, so I had like a session with whoever, and then they had people that didn't like them, I guess, and then there was stabbing outside. And then it's like, I mean, that's something when I was like, it's kind of more, there's more to this than just making music as well. Like there are a lot of,
putting your life on the line,
the scene I'm in, I guess. Second?
You're almost putting your life on the line.
Yeah, I mean, like,
mate,
things could have gone so differently. Like, I mean, yeah, like, for example, if it didn't happen outside, it could have happened in my studio, which means I would have been there. I could have got stabbed for just being associated with this guy at the time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, on like a lighter note, best memory. I'm not too sure, you know. I can't really think of like a standout one. I feel like there has been times when, like, for example, you have days when you might have like 4 or 5 sessions that you've not really been like getting a good vibe out of it, or you're not really enjoying it too much. And then I'll have this one artist that will make something so like special, I guess. And then both of you in the studio and you know it's a good song, like, and then you both kind of look at each other and it's kind of that moment where you're like, right, this is actually like, we made something good here. And then that's what I like about it, is like kind of being a part of giving people that kind of excitement, I guess. It's rewarding. Like it's a very like rewarding job as well. Like like just being a part of that is quite special, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you're actually okay with this, but have you got any songs that you've worked on? Because I know you do a bit of personal stuff, or I know you did a song with Artan that was really successful, which I know I personally am quite a fan of. Is there any songs which we could kind of clip in this and have in this, just to kind of show people a bit of an idea of what you do? And then let's say we clip it now. Could you maybe talk about the technical side of how you produce and the equipment you use to produce? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I guess. Should we just like keep a clip now for the
I'll put it in right now.
I'll just...
And action. Pick me apart like it's an operation. We're back and forth but we ain't conversating. Not getting younger, I forgot I'm aging. Yo, look, cause I know life, I know the struggles of surviving. I grew up in London where we share the same address, but we're divided. These ain't tears, man, I'm just high behind these eyelids. And out of everybody that I met, my fucking cabbie's still the wisest. He said money isn't everything, only thing you need is good friends, 4 walls and a roof that you can settle in. You'll soon be on to better things. But he doesn't know about the debt I'm in, or when I took out uni loans for ketamine. But I'm working hard, but what's the meaning? Hard, the more you sweat and practice, then the less and more you're bleeding. Why am I working like a slave? But my rewards are less appealing. Are these TED Talks that I'm watching all deceiving? Is it true? Heard the only person standing between victory is you. I know the feeling when you're talented, but don't know what to do. And everybody's doing well, and you don't know which path to choose. It's like they've never worked a day, but told you mountains you should move. It's really peak out here, feeling weak out here. 9 to 5 and 5 to 9 and got no sleep out here. Trying to blossom every day, I'm planting seeds out here. I'm buying all these fucking flowers.
Yeah. I guess I feel like the Artan one is quite I guess it's kind of a more interesting story than maybe the other bigger songs, because with the Artan one, it's kind of like there's only a kind of handful of artists that I really make stuff on the spot with, like, and it's kind of risky. Like, you could have a set, like, I feel like it's because I'm comfortable with him. Some artists, if they're like a massive artist, you don't really want to risk, I guess, them coming to the studio and you make something they're not really feeling and they don't really catch the vibe for it and stuff like that. That's when the sessions can be a bit awkward. But with Artan, it's like, I've known him for quite a few years, so it was kind of easy for me to feel comfortable and just make whatever. But yeah, at that time we made two of his kind of biggest songs. Maybe like, well, I know One My High is like his biggest one, but we made two in the same day within like 4 hours. I made the beat on the spot, he made all the lyrics on the spot. Like, we did everything just within like 4 hours, and it was just crazy. Like, I felt like the synergy of that day was just crazy. Like, it's kind of like hit or miss sometimes. You have bad days and good days, like when it comes to recording people. But yeah, that's one that kind of stands out to me. I think that's probably one of my favorite songs as well. And I came to the video.
You're in the video.
In the video, in the balaclava. But yeah.
And what's the kind of more? So when you produce, or for an aspiring producer who might be watching this, what would kind of be the basics that you'd say they need to be able to kind of start climbing the ladder, get the first foot on the ladder to maybe, you know, achieve what you have in such a short space of time?
Well, I guess in terms of like equipment, all you need these days is just a computer and software, really. But I feel like what I kind of always say to people is what I value the most is just having kind of just branding and marketing is massive. Because I mean, I feel like you could be a very average producer, but if you kind of build a name for yourself, kind of on social media or whatever, it can help you a lot, because it kind of gives you credibility when you try and message people, or if you try and contact people. Like, majority of artists that I've worked with, I've just kind of got through to them through Instagram. That's kind of the main platform I use, is just Instagram. YouTube as well. I'd say utilize YouTube, because I mean, some of my biggest songs have just been beats that I just threw on YouTube at the time. So that's important. But yeah, I think also people kind of want it too quick, as in people think you can just become a producer in like a week, but it doesn't work like that. It's kind of like, the more hours you put in, the more you get out of it. Because yeah, like, I was nothing for the first like 1, 2, 3 years. And also, you kind of need to get to the stage when your beats are at a good level for anyone to actually want to use them in the first place. Like, you can't just expect your first year of beats to be selling #1 records. I mean, there's probably people that have done that, but I mean, it's not an easy path. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I say. I always say to people, just put in more time than anyone else as well. Like, if another producer's putting in 10 hours, put in 12. Like, that's just my mindset on things.
I mean, that's a pretty kind of common. I don't know if it's kind of a new thing in society, but people always expect very, very quick returns and are rarely particularly willing to put the hard work in that you need to get somewhere. And like, you know, even for you were working for a few years, and, you know, working for free a lot, working really long hours, but you've actually, you know, you're 20 years old now, and you've achieved it far quicker than some people ever ever do in their whole career. So you kind of you kind of have to gamble to a certain extent on
definitely.
on your talent. Yeah.
Also, it's kind of a hard like market because it's all opinion based. So I can't tell you that this is good and I can't tell you this is bad, and neither can anyone else. So it's like you're trying to, I mean, I guess with other things, it's kind of, you're trying to reach a certain point and a certain standard, but it's kind of the standard is kind of all over the place because no one really knows no one can say this is good or bad. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of complicates things a bit. But yeah.
Okay, moving on to this has been quite a big talking point, obviously, for the last 2 years. And I'm actually really interested by what you have to say because I was kind of shocked by the fact that your career really started in 2020, which for most people was the end of theirs or just a shit year. But the whole Hazy brand has grown so much in the last kind of year and a half. So could you just talk about like some of the obstacles that you faced or kind of like how the last year and a half's been for you?
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest, obviously, the whole lockdown and Corona. But I mean, I got lucky in certain places because obviously I think recording studios were allowed to be open majority of the time under like certain regulations. So I was all right in terms of working. But I do feel like there was obstacles obviously with people wouldn't want to book the studio obviously because they don't want to catch Corona because there was all this talk about it as well. I mean, I moved out of my first studio maybe a year and a bit ago. And I didn't have the studio for like 3-4 months. So obviously that kind of put a standstill to it. But I kind of worked out, I mean, I think it was kind of good for me anyway, because I kind of refreshed myself and had a different intake, a different perspective, like when I came back to it, do you know what I mean? And then I think I've had 3 or 4 studios since then. And I'm kind of still working my way around it. But yeah, like obviously, yeah, Corona's just made things annoying.
Yeah. Also, I mean, for the viewers, Hazy hasn't been on a holiday in about 4 years. 4 years now, hasn't it been? So what would be
since France.
What would be the right? Okay, 3 questions. What would be the destination you go to watch one artist, and what drink would you be drinking whilst you were watching them?
All right. What destination did you say as well, by the way?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I've been wanting to go to Spain for like 3 years, just because I like it. I've been twice, I think. And to watch what art? That's a technical one. I'll go to drink first. I'll probably Captain Morgan's I quite like. Spice rum. It's lovely. Yeah. Standard.
So you be in Spain with some spiced rum, watching who?
That's what I'm trying to work out myself. It's weird, you know, because I feel like I don't listen to music anymore, even though that sounds really weird. But for example, if your job is
if you're
music,
hearing it all day, you probably get a bit sick of it.
Yeah.
To be honest,
it's like if I'm in studio, I'm out of studio a lot more nowadays. But I used to be in there for like 12 hours, and then I go home, and like the last thing I want to do is listen to music. So it's like I kind of went out of the loop for a bit, musically. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'd watch live. You know, it's hard to say.
That's right. That's
we'll just fill it in. You'll go to the beach in Spain or something. I don't know.
As long as there's Spanish women and a bit of red rum,
Captain Morgan's.
That's all he wants.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are you saying?
Something strong. Maybe.
Fair enough. I'm going wrong, mate.
I don't know. I feel like Spain's a little bit rinsed, to be honest, for me.
The whole of Spain.
I don't know. Somewhere warm with a strong drink, watching. I don't know. I don't even know. That's a pretty difficult question, isn't it? Maybe you know what? Daft Punk would be amazing, but they broke up. They broke up this year, I think. So that's kind of my dreams crushed. So yeah, what about you, Cooper?
I'm kind of with you, but something strong, and I think Spain does sound amazing. So I'll see you there. But
You're American, so you've never been, mate. Once you go a few times, it's all British tourists.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I'll be one of those
What, in
British
Spain?
tourists now.
yeah, in Spain, but it depends where you go, I guess. But
You can't say the whole of Spain is tourist.
Yeah.
Everyone is tourist. I
I don't know,
wouldn't
dude.
mind going to France again, but that's because I have good memories there. Obviously, with Marius, so 3,000. But yeah, that was nice.
Would you try and do
No,
like a little bit of business while you're there, or just decide to relax and take a vacation for yourself?
You know what? Like, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I couldn't speak the language, so I'm not sure what.
Well,
like,
yeah,
it's
that's
kind of hard
fair,
for me to
yeah.
run studio sessions,
Google
but,
Translate,
no,
Instagram
it'd be interesting
DMs.
to see though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I kind of want to, in terms of musically, America obviously would be crazy to go to, like, in terms of to see. I mean, I feel like their studios are like 10 years ahead. Like,
Yeah.
actually, but I mean,
And
yeah, it'd be
musically,
interesting
no,
to see
that's
how
huge
they
well.
work there. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it'd be quite interesting. And also the
Yeah.
artists there, I feel like they'd be quite interesting to work with as well.
Yeah.
Also, Hazy, we were talking a few days ago, and you mentioned that you really were keen on moving out of the UK for at least a bit of your life to experience working or your career somewhere else. Do you think that would be America because of like the size of the industry there, or would you choose somewhere with a bit more, maybe like a bit more of a lifestyle change? Or what's kind of your perspective on where you take
You know,
career out?
it's hard because I know that. Yeah, like obviously it's a hard one because I feel like I've built myself, I guess, and all of my clients are in London. So I feel like me moving anywhere else, I basically have to start again, almost. Obviously, I have a lot more knowledge. But yeah, I think in terms of if I did move somewhere else, I guess I'd still be mainly doing stuff in London, but just kind of remotely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, like, I mean, I guess I could also do the same thing in multiple places, but also I don't want to spread myself out too much.
Yeah. You want to keep your connections, you know. You want to keep.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I guess
place.
I'm kind of more focused on UK. I mean, I guess if I did go out too much, it would probably be more other places in the UK, maybe like Manchester, Liverpool.
Yeah. It's cool though.
Maybe Brighton as well.
Cool. I think, in all fairness, I think we're kind of coming towards a bit of an end. Have you got any anything you'd like to say, Harvey?
Any wisdom?
Any wisdom? Yeah.
Keep going, man.
Keep going.
Keep doing your thing, man. Yeah, like I guess I guess like what I said before, you just have to outwork everyone. I kind of see it. I guess my mentality is I kind of try and relate it to, I guess, how a boxer would train. Like, you just have to focus on it so much and just like not really let yourself think about anything else and just kind of tunnel vision. Just like, that's kind of what I did for like 2-3 years, just every day. Yeah, like all I thought about was music and what I was trying to do. I'm even like that now as well, but I'm trying to kind of relax myself a bit because it can be overwhelming. Like, especially with music, it's kind of like there's not really an end goal. Like, you kind of always want more, it kind of makes it hard. Like, once you get this big song that you've been like kind of working towards for like a year, then you're like, all right, cool, what am I doing now? And it's kind of like you always, do you know what I mean? You're always gonna try and work towards the next best thing.
I'd say that's also kind of part of your particular, or your particular mentality, or what a successful mentality is. It's not just setting a goal and then reaching it and being like, right, well, I've kind of done what I want to do. Kind of always
about the next step.
Yeah. I mean, I find it hard to be like relaxed, or like I don't really like. I feel uncomfortable when I'm too chilled out because I feel like I can be doing something. So like even now, I guess if I needed to, I could just stay at my house all day. But like now I'm just kind of, my head won't let me. Do you know what I mean? So now I'm
going to go to the pub for a pint, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. but yeah, I think yeah, that's also something I'm looking towards in the future as well. Like I want to shoot like little interviews and stuff. Like I'm doing a lot of marketing stuff nowadays. Like I'm kind of trying to build the brand up. That's kind of what I guess my job is nowadays, more than kind of being so involved in the actual music stage of it. I'm kind of just trying to make sure the studio's like massive, I guess.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, you're on the right track.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All
Well,
right. Thank you very much. Then I think that's about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Lovely talking to you.
Thank you very much, mate. Congratulations on
good seeing you
on
as well, Cooper.
everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, thanks
Alright.
a lot, mate.